Orkney Brewery Puffin Ale.
And remember, life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. It is the 7th of February 2021. It is fucking snowing out now and it is freezing. Must be about -2. I'm sure everyone else in the country has had snow, but it's just come to Kent. We took the dogs out a bit earlier on, big mistake. Snow is really deep and it is freezing. I am not complaining. I remember how hot it was back in 2020. Honestly, it was getting ridiculous, the heat, and I will not complain about the cold because you can do things about the cold. It's harder to do things about the heat, in my opinion. Anyway, enough about the weather. Let's get on to the beer. Now, this is one from the Orkney Brewery, one of my favourite British brewers. They're based, as the name would suggest, up in the Orkney Islands, and this is quite a new one for them. It's their Tawny Ale. Now, the only other people I know that do a Tawny Ale is the Orkney Brewery, and that ale was fantastic. So I'm sort of half hoping that this is going to be as good as that. And the description looks really nice as well. It says it's nutty, flavoursome and spicy. Now, you cannot go wrong with that. Unfortunately, there's no brew sheet. This is quite a new beer, so all that you've got on there is them advertising it and the brew sheet and everything else, the information about the beer. That is coming soon, according to them. I think that's a bit poor, personally. Mind you saying that, they're pretty good with their brew sheets. You know, whenever I do review an Orkney Brewery beer, they always make a point of putting what's hops and what malt they've used in there, which I like. Some people might say that the hops don't matter. I know one subscriber says that he's not interested in the hops. That's fair enough, but you know, and he did make a point about saying that the hops, the quality of the hops would have a big factor on the taste. Yeah, that is a given. It's like anything. If you're cooking, if you use shit ingredients, you're going to get shit food. Shit in, shit out. That is my general motto. If you have good ingredients and you know what you're doing, generally you're going to brew good beer. However, that's not always the case. And I do like to give the hop descriptions. It gives me an idea of what I should be expecting, what flavours. Sometimes you can see whether a beer is not going to be to your taste if there's hops in there, certain hops that you don't like. And generally, it's nice to know, in my opinion. So that's why I do it. If you don't like it, fast forward. There you go. Anyway, a little bit about the brewery. They've been going since the early 80s. I think 83 was when this lot were formed. And they do some absolutely fantastic beers. And ones that really stick out are Dark Island, Skull Splitter, the Red McGregor I really liked. And there was a couple of others in there as well, which weren't too bad. They do a bitter as well, which was quite nice. A couple of the IPAs, wasn't too keen on them. The Pale Ale, it was okay. This looks really inviting, and that's the reason I got it. When it said nutty, flavoursome and spicy, I thought it was going to be some sort of brown ale. I don't think it is. I think this is going to be more like a bitter. But nevertheless, if it's come from the Orkney Brewery, it is going to be pretty good. So let's stop gassing and let's get this investigated. Right, as I said, there is no brew sheet on the website, so I really can't tell you what's in it. It just says, the description just says it's nutty, malty, sweet malt, spicy, fruitiness, and notes of herbs, etc. It says it's a burnished bronze beer with aromas of spices, sweet nutty malt, and dark fruits. An inviting rich malt palate is balanced with notes of herbs and spicy fruit. That really sounds appealing to me. That is my kind of thing. And it goes on a little bit about puffins and stuff like that. You know, the birds, puffins. Did you know? Here's a little useless bit of information that will get you absolutely nowhere. In Norway, they eat puffins. I think that's a bit out of order myself, but they do it. And there's a dog called a Lindehund that has been basically bred to hunt puffins down. And it's the only dog that can dislocate its breastbone so it can climb really big trees and rocks. And it can tilt its head right back. Look it up, Lindehund. Fascinating dog. I mean, obviously not everyone's into dogs, but I am interested in, dogs and dog breeding and their traits, etc. But Lindehund is a fascinating dog. It can bend its head right back. No other dog can do that. And it can sort of dislocate its breastbone to climb big rocks and trees. Fantastic. Unfortunately, they use it to kill puffins. Bastards. Them bloody Norwegians. Anyway, let's get this beer open. Righty, right. I am in the process of building a studio in my back garden, a recording studio. And I was working all day yesterday and I ache like a bastard. I've had a bath and a warm bath and I still ache. And I had a few beers last night watching the football. What a shower of shit that was. That Mike Dean, that ref. What a tosser. Sent off Souček for a supposed elbow. Fucking twat. Anyway, relax. Relax. It's only a game. As my old man used to say to me. When I'd be smashing the house up. Because West Ham lost again. Right, let's get it in ye olde glass. This is about cellar temperature. Which is about the right temperature in my opinion. It doesn't give a serving temperature, so if it's going to be on cask then you won't go wrong with cellar temperature. There it is in the glass, and it is, as they say, it's an amber colour. Some people call that tawny. Wow, that smells like a really good bitter. Lovely caramel malt. Some nice sweet crystal malty type aromas. Little touch of spice. I'm getting that spice on there now, and it's not just black pepper. There's another spice in there that I can't put my finger on. What the hell is that? I can't get it. I don't know what it is. I do apologise, but there is another spice, and I've tasted it before, and I'm not fucking getting it on me. There's some fruit on there, I will say that. Some nice dark fruit, as they say on the side of the bottle. Now, I was hoping this was going to be something like a brown ale, but it's not. It's more like a bitter. Some people do describe their bitters as tawny ales. I think Cotley do as well. And tawny is a brown colour. It obviously comes from the owl, the tawny owl colour. But that is quite nice. Very good head retention on that. And it smells really inviting. So let's shut up. Let's get it down my fat Gregory Peck. Bottoms up. Oh, that is lovely. Wow. Oh. Wow, what a complex beer. First thing you're hit with is a massive amount of what I think is crystal malt. It's very sweet, almost honey-like. I'd imagine that the yeast has got something to do with that as well, but this is mainly that sweet crystal malt. Nice amount of bitterness on the end. Nice black pepper, earthy, herbal type bitterness. And that lingers and lingers. And it leaves an aftertaste of a really good bitter that's using something like, I don't know, some type of British hop, like Challenger or Bramling Cross. But it's really nice. I do like this. Very sweet malt on that. Sweet caramel with with some dried fruit. They're mentioning a nutty flavour. I wouldn't say it's nutty.
It's a bit nutty.
I'd say it's very sweet, but that sweetness is quickly rounded off with the earthy and spicy finish that's on that. There is some dark fruit on that, but I think that's overpowered by the sweetness of the malt and the big bitter finish on it. This to me is a very good bitter. Now they haven't categorised what this is, but it's got all the traits of a very good British bitter, in my opinion. It's what I'd be expecting if they called that Puffin Tawny bitter or something like that, or best bitter even. I'd say, yeah, this isn't bad. The bitterness on the back end is huge, and that's really nice. It gives it such a long-lasting finish. And to be honest, it's one of them beers that you're discovering more flavours as it goes down. They're all sort of, it's complex. On your first mouthful, you're really not going to get everything. There's just too much. You're bombarded with too much. Quite nice. The body is just about right. Now I do know that there's malted wheat in this as well, which is probably giving it that quite nice body to it. The sweetness is dying down as well. I think that initial burst of crystal malt that's in this, it does, how can I put this? It does get subdued as you drink more, and the bitterness and the spiciness come through on it. It's quite nice. If you're a fan of best bitter, or you like that bitter finish that you get from, you know, them British hops like Challenger and Target hops, you're going to love this. Mouthfeel is quite nice on this, and there is a little touch of carbonation on it, but it's just enough to get the flavours around the palate. It's funny, as that was initially massively sweet. As I'm getting further down, I'm getting more and more of the bitterness and more of that earthy, herbal type note from the hops. The hops are big on this, and I'm really gutted they don't give me a brew sheet on this, because I would really like to know what sort of hops are in that. My guess is that it's going to be Challenger. It's got that, Challenger hops do have a really big bitter flavour on them, and they're used a lot in British bitters. It is a British hop, and I think that's what they've used in there. I could be wrong, but this comes back to my point about, you know, good breweries use good ingredients. The Orkney Brewery are a good brewery, so you know they're going to use good ingredients. Whether the beer is to your taste or not is another thing, but you can guarantee that what goes into their beer is of good quality, and I can tell that the hops that have gone in here really do stand out, and it's giving it a real character to it. I really like this, and as I say, I'd really need to drink 2 or 3 of these to give you my honest opinion. I'm probably going to be getting flavours even on the second pint as well, but I will say there is a lot to contend with here flavour wise. But it's nice. I like it. That's good. So what's the verdict on Puffin Ale? Well, the description is a little misleading. It says nutty. I'm not really getting any of that nuttiness at all. Now, if I drank 2 pints, maybe I would. But what I initially get is a massive burst of sweetness, sweet malt, and some spice on the finish that makes it quite bitter. There's some herbal notes, as they say, and dark fruits as well. But that's what I'm getting. The most memorable thing about this is the finish. It's really big, bitter, and long lasting. Their description is nutty, flavoursome, and spicy. Spicy, yes. Flavoursome, yes. Nutty, not really. But having said that, it's a good one. I like it. And if you like bitter, you're going to like this. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Solid 8 out of 10. That's another good one from the Orkney Brewery. It's not a standout one, I will say that. They have done better than this. But it ain't bad, I will say. So yeah, I think 8 out of 10 is a fair mark. And I recommend it if you like bitters with a lot of flavour and big finish, because this has got it. And I think Tawny Ale might be a little bit misleading. I know they already do a bitter, but if they'd have called this, I don't know, some puffing bitter or something like that, I think it's a more accurate description in my opinion. Where it said nutty, I was thinking this could potentially be a brown ale, but no, it's not. I was thinking it's a brown ale and it says Tawny Ale on it. You're a bit of a div, aren't you? Well, there you go. Anyway, 8 out of 10, recommended. And remember, beer is working class champagne.